If I make a video about the greatest of all times, we gotta talk about the underappreciated. What's up, fans? So I made a video on Monday talking about my personal greatest Miami Dolphins team of all time. I got some greats on there. I got Marino, Taylor, Thomas, Surtain, Madison, the Marks brothers. I got a great offensive line with Richmond Webb, who got some great news to tell you guys at the end of the video about Richmond Webb. It's going to be pretty cool. But, you know, I made that video, and then one of you guys suggested, which I talked about in the last video, why don't I do an underrated team? Now, I'm not doing an underrated team where I'm going to have a full team, you know, offense, defense, all this stuff. But I have a list of names of some of my personal favorite underrated players. I have some honorable mentions because there were so many. I got about 7 guys that I think are my favorite underrated Miami Dolphins of all times. And then I got a good list of honorable mentions that I'm going to name. And then I'm going to get 20 guys' comments today. And I got a huge announcement that involves left tackle Richmond Webb. Huge announcement. So be sure to stick around for that. So let's jump right into this. Let's start this Mamma Jam off with some honorable mentions. Now, again, the list of Miami Dolphins that were underrated, not only to everyone in the world, but to their team themselves, is long. So I have a few guys on here, like wide receiver, Oronde Gatson, great wide receiver. Running back Lamar Miller. He was with the team for about 4 years, did really well. He had that 99-yard touchdown run against the New York Jets, which was amazing. When he's with the Houston Texans, still doing pretty good with the Texans. Not as great as he did with the Dolphins, but I made a video about that already. You got Trace Armstrong, Keith Byers, Keith Sims. And then there's some guys that I've put on my all-time team that were second stringers, like Trace Armstrong and Cross and all those guys. But those are some names that honorable mentions. I'm going to get more depth to some other names that you guys are probably going to be like, oh, yeah. So let's jump right into it. Now, I don't have the order that they're in aren't from best to worst or worst to best. It's just the order that I have them written down because I got them written down. So, number 1, Brian Hartline. Come on. The dude was clutch. The dude was Ryan Tannehill's favorite target. Whenever you threw the ball at Brian Hartline, he caught it. He is 7th in the team's history in receiving yards with 4,243 yards, and the man's got 12 touchdowns. He was extremely reliable, an extremely great guy. After leaving the Dolphins, went to the Cleveland Browns. He didn't really do anything, and now he's coaching with Ohio State. I told you guys in the live stream that I had a conversation with him through Twitter that blew my mind, that he actually answered me back because I thought he was still in the league, and I'm wondering why wasn't he on a team. And then he tweeted back at me saying, it's because I'm coaching for Ohio State. So he's now the wide receivers coach for Ohio State. Some people wanted him to be head coach, but Brian Hartline, one of the most underappreciated wide receivers we ever had. Let's jump into the other side. Let's jump into some defense, and let's talk about Jeremiah Bell. I grew up watching Jeremiah Bell. I loved Jeremiah Bell. The guy was a beast safety. He was a hard-nosed hitter. 7th in the team's history with tackles, 433 tackles, 6 interceptions with his career with the Miami Dolphins. Great safety. Like I said, I love this guy. Loved watching him play. Loved just seeing him in that number, going after the guys. Loved it. Then we got running back. Now, for some of you guys, this guy, you're going to be like, he's not underappreciated. I think he's one of the best running backs on the team. I would have actually liked to see him on your all-time team. But for me, when you talk about all-time great running back, you get, you know, Mercury Morris, you get Larry Zonka, you get Ricky Williams, you know, you get certain names. Ronnie Brown. Now, again, some people might be like, Ronnie Brown, he's not underappreciated, he sucked. And some people might be like, Ronnie Brown, he isn't underappreciated, he's one of the greats. He is 3rd in Miami Dolphins history with rushing yards at 4,815. And 3rd with touchdowns at 36 touchdowns. He only played on the team for 5 years, and he racked up that amount of stats. Him and Ricky with the Wildcat and just destroying it was a great thing. So Ronnie Brown is on there. He was underappreciated. I honestly think sometimes people forget about him and how great he's 3rd. When it comes to rushing yards, number 1 on the Miami Dolphins is Larry Zonka. Then it's Ricky. Then it's Ronnie. So he's 3rd. Then we're going to jump back to offense. And I'm going to name a name. And again, this is a quarterback that a lot of people, I brought this quarterback's name up a few times, and a lot of people were like, he sucked. He didn't do anything. Because I talked about him, and I liked this quarterback a lot. I think he was one of the best quarterbacks we've had since Marino retired. That underappreciated Miami Dolphin is Jay Fiedler. Now, I know a lot of you guys are going to tell me Jay Fiedler sucked, Jay Fiedler didn't do anything, Jay Fiedler this, Jay Fiedler that. He was 4th in the team with passing yards at 11,040. 4th in the team with touchdowns, with 66 touchdowns. His rating as a starting quarterback for the Miami Dolphins, or win-loss record, is 36-3. So he had 3 games over 500. Also, this is the other reason why I have him on this list, and why I have him as one of the underappreciated Dolphin quarterbacks. He's my only quarterback on this list because Ryan Tannehill's still new, and he really didn't do as much as I'm about to tell you that Jay Fiedler did. He was the last quarterback to win a playoff game for the Miami Dolphins. 2002 versus the Colts, and he won it in overtime. So he's very underappreciated. There's some Dolphin fans that hate him. There's some Dolphin fans that love him. There's some Dolphin fans that are just like, I don't care. And that's why I think he's underappreciated. And he's one of my favorite Dolphin quarterbacks. Literally, I have Marino, Greasy, Earl Morrall's up there. Earl Morrall is probably another honorable mention for an underappreciated quarterback. And I got Jay Fiedler. For me, Jay Fiedler's above Ryan Tannehill. And that might piss some people off, but for me personally, I have Jay Fiedler above Ryan Tannehill. Then we'll stay on the offensive side. This guy, to me, was Jarvis Landry before Jarvis Landry. This guy was that bruiser wide receiver, that guy that would catch everything and get those extra yards. And that receiver is wide receiver Devon Best. He is 10th in the Dolphins' history with receiving yards with 3,447, and he has 12 touchdowns. When it comes to receiving yards, he has more receiving yards than Warfield. He's just one above Warfield in the ranking. Warfield's 11th, Devon Best is 10th. But like I said, when Jarvis Landry came out and Jarvis Landry started playing and Jarvis Landry started doing well, I instantly was like, this guy reminds me of a better Devon Best. And I remember Devon Best, and he's another guy. He's another receiver from the Miami Dolphins that went to the Cleveland Browns and ended up doing nothing, getting in legal troubles, and just faded out of the league. So you have Brian Hartline go to Cleveland, nothing happened. You got Devon Best go to Cleveland, nothing happened. Jarvis Landry is now in Cleveland. Not saying nothing happened, but he didn't do as good last year as he would have. Now I'm going to jump back to defense. We're going to talk about another safety, another hard-hitting, another great guy. That's Brock Marion. Now, Brock Marion has 20 interceptions and 367 tackles with the Miami Dolphins. He came over after winning a Super Bowl with the Cowboys. And when he came over, Patrick Surtain and Sam Madison were still young, still rookies. So he was their security blanket in the backfield. If they messed up, if they let their receiver go, Brock Marion was back there to help them out, to make sure everything was good. Then the tandem of those three with the safety and those two corners made a great secondary tandem that really took the league by storm, that people were like, this Dolphin defense is nothing to joke about. So I got Brock Marion on there because, we got Jake Scott, we got Anderson, we got Rashad Jones, we got all those great safeties, but no one really talks about Brock Marion. And I remember Brock Marion. I liked Brock Marion. You also got McKnight back there. That was also a very good safety. Maybe another honorable mention was McKnight. And then we got my final underrated Miami Dolphin, and that is going to go to running back. He was only with the team for 2 years, but he racked up some really crazy numbers, and that's Lamar Smith. Lamar Smith was with the team for only 2 years, but his rushing yards are 13th in Miami Dolphins history with 2,107, and he has 20 touchdowns, which ranks 10th in the team's history. 2 years. He was with the team for 2 years. Got 20 touchdowns and over 2,000 rushing yards. Dave Wanstead used him, gave him the chance. He did great, but then the injuries start to hit, and then he just never did anything. So, he's underrated because those 2 years were really great, and then he ended up not doing anything. But that's my list of underrated Dolphins of all time. Brian Hartline, Devon Best, Jay Fiedler, Jeremiah Bell, Brock Marion, Ronnie Brown, and Lamar Smith. I got some honorable mentions that I threw in there. If you guys have any names that I missed, be sure to comment below. Let me know why he's underrated to you. Let me know what he has done that you're like, this guy was underrated. He was one of the best, and a lot of people didn't recognize it. Comment below. Let me know. Also, let me know what you think of my list. There's some names I missed. I know there's some punters out there. There's some other guys out there that you liked. So let me know. Comment below, and we get to one of you guys' comments of the day. And this comment comes from Alex Jeffrey, and he says to me, as far as I know, the Brazilian guy is international, and the rules, as I understand it, is he could take a practice squad spot, not counting against the original 10. So the Dolphins are allowed 11. I assume he will be allowed to play in season, but if he was to be put on the practice squad, it wouldn't count against anything. And I picked this comment because this goes to Neto, who I was talking about with the defensive line camp battle position, because I know he comes from Brazil, and there's a certain stipulation and there's a certain rule that he can take, like Alex said, he could take a practice squad spot and it won't count against the 10. So essentially we'll have 11. If Neto doesn't make the team, we can throw him on the practice squad and not worry about him taking up a spot. But Neto, I honestly think once the pads come on, he's going to be a beast, and he might be one of our starting nose tackles in our 3-4 defense. But I picked that comment. I wanted to throw that in there because it clears up my understanding of what the Brazilian has to do and how the rules of him being an overseas player affects the team. Now let me get to my news about the hopefully future Hall of Famer Richmond Webb. And that is, I am doing, if you guys know about a Facebook page called The Fanatics, who Josh, if you guys watched my live streams, Josh is a part of it. I'm going to be on that radio show Wednesday, the 17th at 6:30. I'm going to put the link to the page below. You guys can check it out. Also, you can listen to the radio show there. I'll give all the stuff below. You guys can check it out. The phone number to call in when you go on the Facebook page will be there. But Richmond Webb is going to be on the radio show along with me and TD and some other of the Dolphin fans and Dolphin people calling in and all that stuff. So it'll be pretty cool that I get to talk to Richmond Webb, who should be a future Hall of Famer. I don't know why he's not in the Hall of Fame already. But yeah, so be sure to go over, check that out. Again, the link will be below. Wednesday, 6:30, the radio show airs, and be sure to check that out. Richmond Webb. We'll get to talk to Richmond Webb, who I put on my all-time Miami Dolphins team. Like, are you kidding me? Also, I'm going live Sunday for a little bit, 6:30, again, p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to go live for about an hour. Probably going to have one of the Bit Boys with me, so we're going to hang out, talk about Dolphin stuff. You guys get to meet one of the Bit Boys. We might be setting up for the recording session that day, so it'll be pretty cool. So again, Sunday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to go live for a little bit. I'll talk to you guys more about the radio show that's happening on Wednesday with me and TD on the Fanatics. So again, Fanatics below, check that out. But also be sure to follow me on Twitter. I'm going to be retweeting things, retweeting a bunch of other things. There's a bunch of suspensions that happened recently. I retweeted those, a bunch of Dolphin news. If it happens, I retweet it. Also, my Instagram's there if you want to check that out. Also, again, the Bit Boys, you'll meet one of them tomorrow when we're live at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come hang out. But be sure to go check that out. Madden's coming out soon. I'm getting it 3 days early because I'm pre-ordering it. So I'm going to have some Madden stuff on there, opening packs, doing stuff like that. Hopefully be playing some of you guys soon. I have on PlayStation, so hopefully you guys have a PlayStation that you guys can play me on. But other than that, give this video a thumbs up. We're getting so very, very close to training camp. We literally have 1 week from tomorrow, the rookies arrive. And then we have less than 3 weeks, I think, until we face the Atlanta Falcons August 8th. And I'm going to be live streaming that, so you can bet your sweet Aunt Bibby that I'm going to be live. So give this video a thumbs up for that. Also, because you appreciate this stuff. You appreciate the underrated videos, the all-time videos, these types of fun videos where I get to tell you guys what I think of the history of the team, and you guys get to tell me what you think of the history of the team. It's really fun. If you're watching this on DolphinsTalk.com, how you doing? I hope you're having a good day, night, whatever, whenever you're watching this. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. I got a ton of stuff planned for you guys. Training camp. I do this every year. I did it last year. Break down everything that has happened when it comes to play-by-plays, all that stuff. I was doing it last year when no one was doing it. I'm going to do it again this year. So be sure to hit that subscribe button because once training camp comes, you're going to get a ton of news from me, and then season and all that stuff. So like usual, I'll see you guys tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to live stream for a little bit. But other than that, stay classy and fins up.